this is what I do for a living. I overthink things, but
That's a
um,
nice job.
yeah, right. It's good to have. It's a reflex. I might as well make money with it.
Welcome to the Greens Blues 14er podcast. This episode, Zach ponders the imponderable. I put on my pants one leg at a time, and we review gear that we've gotten in the past year and go through our wish list for the holidays. Well, Z, the temperature's dropping here in Colorado. How's it going over in Norman?
It's going well, Eric. Temperature's dropping here. We've had a warm and dry fall. So,
Sounds pretty good.
you say that. Uh,
I say a lot of things.
you do. Um, so it's been warm and dry, which has meant I've gotten to get out on my bike a lot, which is nice. My family's about to go on a little weekend hike to Keystone Forest.
Oh, cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah, it's great. There's still a lot of bugs, and
Mm.
this is part of the reason I love Colorado. Not many bugs. There's still mosquitoes. My neighbors have like an oak tree, and it has, when it gets really dry, it has oak mites, which will
Oh,
like burrow under your skin and like it's like chigger bites, like it itches a lot.
oh, dude, I had
I
no
need a
idea.
I need a cold snap.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
so I'm ready for it. But life is good. Just about to head into the holiday season, which is why
Mhm.
we're doing this interesting episode today. All is well. How about you, my friend? How are you?
We're doing good. It sounds like you need to take your neighbor's tree and just bring it here to Colorado because it's cold enough now that any bugs that are there probably won't last very long.
Can I take
Um,
my neighbors to Colorado too? Can I drop them off at the
you
state line?
you bring whoever you want.
I would like them
Everyone's
out of
welcome.
my neighborhood, please.
This, that
Uh,
sounds like another story going on here.
so you're well?
Yeah, we're doing good. Broncos are doing really, really well. I think exceeding most, if not all, expectations this year, and it'll be fun to continue watching.
And the Avalanche are the best team in hockey right now.
I've heard that. Yeah, I haven't even
And
followed.
I mean, it's a good time to be a Denverite.
Yeah, Nuggets are not bad either. I think they might be leading the NBA or close to
Yeah.
it. So,
Heading into ski season, life is
yeah,
good.
man, it is.
So I heard, pray tell, that you had an article you wanted to talk about, Eric, and you've hidden this carefully, so I don't know what's about to happen. But you told me that your wife found an article. So what are we talking about here? What's going on?
Yes. So Rachel found an article in Outside Magazine. So
Oh,
it's written by a journalist slash outdoor enthusiast named Jamie Moye or Moy. I'm sorry, Jamie, if you're listening, I'm sorry if I messed your name up, but I don't know exactly how many 13ers or 14ers she's hiked, but she lists out five 13ers that she likes even more than the 14ers. So again, don't have a
oh.
reference point here, but it was a cool list, and so I figured it was worth going through.
Should I try to like guess what they might be? Do
Well,
do you want
there's
me to?
about 600 plus options,
I
so
can go through the list, Eric. I can start at Grizzly Peak and work my way through the Centennials, man. I
you
can
know
do that.
what's funny is of the five, four of them are Centennials, and the fifth
Uh,
one narrowly misses. So you actually wouldn't take that long to get there.
I mean, I'm thinking like Grizzly, Jagged. Those are my two big ones. Like everybody talks about how cool Jagged is. So something in the Grenadiers, Weminuche, something in that part of the San Juans. I'm gonna lay money on it.
Well,
So am I wrong?
you would have lost. How much money do you want to lose? Because unfortunately,
I am not a
Jagged and Grizzly are not on the
I am
list.
not a betting man. Well then lay it down for me. Let's hear about these interesting 13ers that are even better than, although being better than a 14er, like Sherman's that's a low bar, friends.
Yeah, that's
So
true. That's
so
true.
let's hear what she's got.
Well, so I think these are all greens and blues, if that's at all helpful. So,
Ooh.
and I don't think these are in rank order at all. So I'll just kind of go through the list. The first one she lists is Crystal Peak, which
Oh, which you
is
and I have done.
we've both done. And so she got advice from a mountaineering friend who offered that 13ers are often more adventurous
Mm.
and less people-y than the 14ers. And so I think Crystal's a great adventurous way to start out if you're looking at
Yeah.
13ers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And the second one she lists is right next door with Pacific Peak, which I might put in my top five too. So I thought that was cool to see.
Yeah, I kind of wish she had made a little bit more room in her list and had just that as a combo, Crystal slash Pacific,
Mm,
because you can do them as a combo.
you can. She
Um,
actually lists Atlantic as being doable with Pacific, which I mean you could do all
yeah,
three, which you have done, but
yeah.
that's for the uber
Not
adventurous.
well, you're uber adventurous, Eric. If I want to refer back to the Crystal Pacific Atlantic episode, you went on quite the walkabout that day.
It
So,
was
yeah, that's interesting. Crystal and Pacific, great peaks, love them. All right, I'm cool with what Jamie's throwing here. So,
it's a,
what else we got?
it's a good start. So the third one she lists, a little more curious until you read what she writes about it.
Hmm.
She heads to the Sawatch and is offering up Twining Peak, which have you hiked that one, Zach? Because I have not.
I have.
You
Uh,
have? Okay.
that's a deep cut. I'm not gonna lie. Look, I love that part of the Central Sawatch. You're
hmm
surrounded in a ton of peaks. Twining has good access, so I can
Very, very peoply, I would guess, in
very,
13er land.
at least for the approach, it's peoply. The summit,
Yeah,
not super peoply.
sure.
So I can see a theme here that she's picking ones where the access is pretty easy. That's a really cool peak that you're surrounded by other peaks. It's also in a wilderness area.
hmm
So I probably would have picked Champion or my fave, Mount Oklahoma, which is just
Mm.
adjacent to it. Or, if you want a really deep cut, K49 or Deer Mountain or something like that. But okay, yeah, I'm
There
all
you
right.
go. Yeah.
What does she say about it?
The views, basically what you said about being just surrounded by
Yeah,
Albert and massive, just all these peaks around you. So again, maybe a little light on the adventure because it's only a couple miles from Independence Pass and you're
yeah.
basically hiking the CDT most of the time. But
Mm-hmm.
but again, to your point, kind of a deep cut. Probably won't see a lot of people there, and you'll probably be rewarded very highly for not a ton of effort. So
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's why it's on the list.
yeah. I can see that.
Four, I'm pretty sure you've hiked this one down in the Sangres, Mount Adams.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm all right, Jamie. Now
You,
we're
you
now
getting
we're
sold now?
now we're talking business. Yeah, that's a great peak. Mount Adams, we haven't done an episode on it. Absolutely. My two favorite peaks in the Sangres are Mount Adams and Tejeras. Mount Adams is a really cool peak. It allows you to do the approach we did is just a hike this past summer, which is up to Willow Lake, and then
Yep.
you do a little bushwhack after that, and it's pretty cool ascent up the peak and great views. You can make it spicy if you want to. You can keep it class three, or you can do two plus if you want. All right, Jamie, I feel this list now. That's
There-
Crystal Pacific, good. Twinning, or Twining, I don't know how you say it. Mount Adams, solid.
So number five might even be solider in your book. It's down in the San Juans. It's tucked in between Silverton and the Wilson Group, Vermilion Peak. Have you hiked that one?
I have not. That's one that I've got kind of labeled. Although Vermilion, I think, is a little bit more difficult. Um,
I think it may be two plus or maybe even more.
I know that rock is kind of sketchy around
Mm,
Vermilion.
okay.
But that's an interesting area. That's the Ice Lake area.
Yes.
And that subsoil is real sandstony and kind of broken. It's kind of like the Wilson group. Like it's kind of looks like Gladstone, to be honest, or
Okay. Yep.
Tea Kettle or Potosi. Kind of has that kind of character to it. What does she say about Vermilion?
She basically just says that it's the tallest of a series of high 13ers around Ice Lake Basin, like you said, and that
Mhm.
kind of the area, the lake area, is pretty popular as far as tourists go, but not necessarily hiking the peak
Yeah.
itself. So my guess is she probably wanted to add a San Juan in there, which I think is always justified. So I thought it was a pretty cool list overall, those
Yeah,
five.
I'm think that a lot of those are probably certainly better than some of the 14ers.
If you could add one a favorite, maybe it doesn't have to be your number one favorite, but a favorite that you might recommend in a top five, what do you think you would add to that?
To her list,
Sure.
if I could make it Crystal hyphen Pacific and then add one more to that.
Sure.
She's represented the Sangres, she's represented the Swatch, she's represented the San Juans, she's represented the 10-mile range there. So I might go for like a Gore range peak, like Vista
Oh,
Point,
okay.
or the Gores are cool. Or I'd go for a different part of the San Juans. Might go for our friend Half Peak, which
Mm.
has got a little different character to it, a really cool mountain. Or might send her down to New Mexico and do one of the Truchas Peaks.
Oh,
That's a
there you go.
13er, and that's a
Yeah.
totally hiking New Mexico is a little different feel than Colorado altogether. So I might do any one of those. How about you? Is there one that you would say makes your top five list here?
Well, we talked about Half Peak before as being one of my favorites from this past summer, but I might also throw in something like West Spanish Peak from the Sangres. I know,
Ooh.
like you said, she represented it with Adams, but for class one or class two, I think West Spanish has a lot going for it for not a ton of effort. A lot of things to write home about for West Spanish, so I might throw something like that in there.
Excellent. West Spanish is a cool peak. I know we've had like Will Erickson on the pod before, and we need to bring him back.
Mm.
And like his home peak is Chavano, right? Like he goes
Yep.
up there, he hikes it after work.
All the time. Yep.
Like
He's
he's
always
just
on there.
book. If I live near like Cucharas or Raton or Trinidad, I would be banging out West Spanish Peak once a week. I dig that peak. I think
It's a good one.
it's a good mountain. Yeah, totally agreed. I mean, this is why we can't do lists, Eric. Uh,
Because we're gonna have every mountain on there.
Here's my top 400 peaks in Colorado. So,
Uh,
yeah, well, I appreciate that. Jamie, mad respect to you. That's an interesting list. Maybe it should be a pod idea in 2026, Eric. We're going to do our top five non 14er hikes or something like that. Maybe we
hmm,
make our own list.
there you go.
And then I just totally throw away everything I just said and actually think about it and have a completely different list. So,
That's half the fun of it, right?
right? So, what are we doing today, Eric? Other than talking about Jamie and her cool article in Outside Magazine, what the heck is the point of this podcast?
Well, we're gonna kick off the holiday season by talking about gear and talking
Yeah.
about a lot of gear. And I think a few different categories of gear, meaning some gear that we've gotten this past
Mhm.
year that we've really enjoyed, as well as some gear that we're maybe hoping a Jolly Fat Man might give to us this season.
And we're talking, of course, about Jack Black. Um,
If he
I,
comes to my house, I'll welcome him in.
School of Rock and a tent.
Oh,
Yeah, so we thought we would give you guys some ideas for the Merry Christmas season, some gift ideas to ask of your loved ones. And then I've got a third category of like, should I even want this? As I want to put some things up for philosophical debate because like a lot of hiking people, I'm a gear nerd. I like gear. I think my life is made better by gear, even though usually it's not. Um, and I want to have like Eric can be the voice of reason, like Zach, no, that's a terrible idea, or
oh
yes,
no.
Zach, that is worth the $500 investment you're going to put into it. So, Eric, you want to start?
Yeah. So I do have a couple pieces of gear that were given to me this past year that were really helpful. One of which is actually a pair of pants. It's an REI trail made style pants. I would say maybe some pluses and minuses actually to this pair of pants, but the major plus was that these are really lightweight pants. They feel really comfortable. They might even be a little too lightweight because the very first time I went on a hiking trip with them, I'm driving to Kite Lake and I'm intending to hike Buckskin and Loveland, a couple of 13ers near the Decalibron, and I'm probably hiking for 20 minutes on this little trail and then eventually kind of veer off to the southwest towards Buckskin. As you veer off, you cross a couple of streams and
Yeah, you do.
the first one was just perfectly fine. The second one was not perfectly fine. I ended up tripping on probably something invisible and landing on my knee on a rock in the water and cut my pants open. So
Mm.
that stunk, but continued on with a hike, got home, paid a tailor about $8 to fix it, which she did. It looks fantastic, but would have rather not have gone through my pair of pants that quickly. Taken those pants out since then and have been totally fine. They're really lightweight and really comfy, so I think REI trail made pants.
How do they
Uh,
handle water? Like if they get a little wet. Obviously, if you get like a soaking rain, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
pants just get wet and stay wet then. But
Mm-hmm.
like you get a little sprinkle or you get a little, you walking through the willows. How do they handle water for you?
The most part, it just rolls right off.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So, and I've owned several pairs of hiking pants over the years, and that might be my favorite one just because they're perfect for the trail and you don't even feel like you're wearing pants, which maybe is a little dangerous, but
I
um,
mean, I think you should probably feel like you're wearing pants.
maybe these aren't so good
The naked look, I don't know, but
then.
you know me, I'm a true believer. I have three pairs of Mountain Hardwear
Mm-hmm.
hiking
Yep.
pants that I believe in that are pretty invincible. If they get a little wet, they wick it really quickly.
Yeah.
They're not the cargo pants style, so they don't have a lot of pockets. They got like literally two pockets and then a
Okay.
back zip pocket, but cannot recommend those highly enough. And it sounds like your REI Trailmade pants fit into that mold as well that are pretty rock solid.
They're pretty good. Yep. I'm gonna kick it off with that. So, do you have a piece of gear that you got this year that you want to rave about, Zach?
I do. I have two and they're related. So I'm going to do the thing where I throw in two things at once and
There
just
you go.
mess up the podcast here, Eric. Um, my old backpacking setup, I had like a old butane camp stove from literally the 1980s, and it weighed a somewhat minor ton. It was, you really haven't had a party until you've tried to trade out a butane canister and had ice cold butane shoot all over your hands
Oh
in
my
camp.
gosh.
So I knew I needed a new stove setup. I used to have an MSR International and that thing
Mm.
died on me. So I knew I needed a new camp stove setup. And I kind of went there are a bunch of like Amazon little tiny camp stoves that you can buy. But I went the classic route. I bought an MSR pocket rocket,
Mm-hmm.
which just screws onto a gas canister. It weighs next to nothing, folds up.
Yep.
It's super nice. I used it, I think, three or four times this summer on backpacking trips. Loved it, loved it. I always worry about like stuff like that, like stability, but they make the gas canisters wide enough that it can you can put it on a rock or on the ground and it delivers enough gas. It's got enough, a lot of old stoves. It's either roaring boil or off.
Yeah.
Like jet boils, either I always joked it's either a jet engine or it's not on.
Yeah, mine is
Um,
always on full blast if it's on.
do you want water boiled now?
Now,
Um,
yeah.
this actually has a nice gradient control, so you can
That's cool.
really feather in how much gas you want to throw on. And then related to that, I also got a ultralight Tokes 500 milliliter titanium teacup slash measuring cup. So I
Mm.
measure my oatmeal or my water in it. And then I also brew my tea in it. And I really like that thing too. It's super, super light. You can find it for like 10 or 15 bucks on Amazon.
Okay.
Not that I need to be plugging Amazon here. They're fine on their own. But both those together, and this will become a theme later on in the podcast here. Both those together dropped losing that old stove and using a pocket rocket and getting rid of my old mug. They dropped literally 2 pounds off my pack weight.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that stove weighed a lot. My old stove weighed like
Yeah.
3.5 pounds. So, and this pocket rocket and the canister weigh less than a pound. So those things together, 60 bucks. I dropped a few pounds out of my pack, and that made me super, super happy. So I'm not an ultralighter, but that was great.
That
So
sounds like a
I
wise
can't,
investment.
yeah, that was a wise investment. That was a nice ratio of money spent to weight
Yeah.
lost
Yep.
on that whole affair. So, Eric, did you get any other gear that you want to rep for everybody here?
I got one other thing, and again, not completely gear, but it's something I have with me all the time and I use all the time and that I'm really thankful for. So, my wife Rachel works in dermatology, and I have to make sure that even if the sun isn't out, that I'm putting some level of sunscreen on. So, I've got the little sample packs of sunscreens that I've put on before, but she gave me this, it's called a sunscreen face stick, and I actually show it to you on camera here. It's from a company called Sunbum. It's SPF 30, and it's kind of like a really small stick of deodorant that you just wipe on your face, and you get sunscreen coverage that way. And so they call it a face stick. I put it on my face, arms, hands, everything. And It's really convenient. It's really easy to use. It's not messy. It weighs less than half an ounce.
Does it
So,
run at all? Like
no,
I always
it's,
have an issue with I sweat a lot, right? So like
yeah, I do
I always
too.
have an issue where it kind of rolls down into my, you know how that
Hmm.
is,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Do you have
Yep.
that issue with it?
Not at all. It's like it has the consistency of like a deodorant or like a thick paste. So you don't even have to rub it in. You just kind of rub it on, takes, 30 seconds for your face, and then you're done. Nothing's gonna run, nothing's gonna fall off, and even if you sweat, it's still gonna stay there. So it's pretty sweet. I've used it a whole bunch and really happy with it.
And you need it because you guys can't see this, but right now we're filming and Eric is in a room with white walls and
And I'm
he's
probably whiter than the
he's
walls.
roughly the same color as the walls around him. So
Oh,
no, I think that's great. I've been looking for a really good light sheen sunscreen. Growing up in New Mexico, Colorado, I always worry about skin cancer.
yeah.
I may have to bum some of that sun
Oh
bum.
man, look at
Oh,
you.
look at
Look
me making
at you.
dad jokes off you at some point. That sounds really nice. And protecting your face is a big deal. I actually have one that I want to talk about later about face protection because we don't talk about it enough. But when you're up high, you're absorbing a lot of UVA and UVB rays.
Hmm.
And that's a real thing. You need to protect yourself.
For sure. So that's all I've got in terms of stuff that I've gotten that I want to talk about. So it sounds like you've gone through your list of pluses. Oh, no, you have one more.
I do.
Oh,
I
let's hear
have
it.
I have one more, Eric, and you got to see these. So I've decided I want to do a little bit more winter hiking, as you have.
Yes.
And so I bought a pair of, there's a lot of debate about this, about what kind of winter footwear people should have
I know
for
where you're going
hiking.
with this.
So I bought a pair of Solomon Tundra Pros. I think I've said it before. I have a pair of Solomon regular hiking boots. They're kind of heavyweight, high tops. They run 200 bucks and they are worth every penny of it. So I used to be a guy that just lived and died by Vask boots. Sorry, but they fall apart too easy. Their soles delaminate. Like I went through three pairs of Vask boots in like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
I've gone through one pair of Solomon boots in 7 years.
Oh,
And now I
wow.
have two pair and I kind of blend them together so I'm not like,
Hmm.
but I could still wear the old 7-year-old pair. And I'm hard on boots. I hike a lot of 13ers, a lot of off trail. So I believe in Solomon, what they're doing. I got these Tundra Pros to hike with you this past spring in our ill-fated James Peak expedition. I've worn them a couple times. They're super comfortable right out of the box. They fit my feet great, nicely insulated. When we were hiking, it was nothing short of blizzard
It
conditions.
was cold. Oh,
It
yeah.
was a little nippy out there. And by nippy, I mean probably zero with the wind
Really
chill,
cold. Yeah.
like miserable. Um, they felt great. Feet were fine. I have a two sock combination. I wear a liner sock and a wool sock.
Hmm.
That works for me and my feet.
Yep.
And that combo was spot on perfect for that in those Solomon Tundra Pros. You can get them if you're picky and patient, you can wait. And I got mine for like 110 bucks online.
Oh, nice.
And now normally they're like 250, but if
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you if you're willing to wait and get them from people doing closeouts and stuff like that, I think I got mine from a Sportsman's Warehouse or something like that. But I mean,
Okay.
it's still the same boot.
Yeah.
So they were great. Really like those, like the fit. So if you're looking at doing winter hiking and you don't want to buy a pair of La Scarpas or like pure alpinist or mountaineering boots, I'd say those are a pretty good alternative.
That's awesome. When we hiked James, you had them on, and I was like, "Whoa, those are nice looking boots." And you're like, "Yeah, they're basically brand new." And through that whole excursion, you seemed like your feet were fine, you were warm, and it seemed like it worked really well. So I was a little jealous actually. But
Yeah, they strapped into my snowshoes really nicely. Maybe, Eric, for the Christmas season, you can get a pair of Solomon Tundra Pros as well. Rachel, if you're listening,
or Santa, Rachel or Santa.
or Jack Black,
Or,
perhaps.
I wouldn't. I would accept it from any of those characters.
Yeah,
All right, Zach. So that's the stuff that we've gotten that we like. Why don't we move into our wish list for this holiday season? So, do you want to kick us off?
minus the new Dire Straits live collection that I really want.
I didn't even know they have a new live collection out.
Like multiples, Eric.
Oh,
You need to get
wow.
them all. One of them's like an 8 CD set, my friend. It's
Oh my gosh.
yeah. I just have a couple things that I'm really looking for. One is along the theme of dropping a little bit of pack weight. This is going to be a theme for the episode, but I really like that Tokes 500 milliliter teacup slash measuring cup. There's a Tokes 1100 milliliter, so 1.1 liter pot for like cooking stuff. I'm really interested in that, and I would be interested if anyone has experience with these Tokes pots. The issue that I have right now, I have some old MSR like aluminum pots that I use when I camp, and I get a lot of stickage on those
Mm.
things. Oatmeal, I don't know what it and oatmeal have together, but like there's always a little burn spot. And then here I am, like with my hand in a stream, like scrubbing it out furiously, trying to get it out. I'd really like something that didn't burn my food.
Mm.
So I'm thinking that would be short of me like carrying a cast iron pan up into the woods, like a Dutch oven.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, like you need a mule train for that. But
Yeah.
I think that pot gets great reviews for cooking stuff. I don't want to just boil things. I want to actually like sometimes make oatmeal or whatever in these things. So looking at that Tokes 1100 milliliter pot, if you look online, they're about $45. It would drop about 250 grams off my pack weight. That's not insignificant.
Oh, it's a half pound. That's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
good.
about a half. Yeah, like my MSR cookware is a little heavier, so it would be nice to get that. That's one thing that I'm looking at. And then my other thing, we're very thematic today, Eric. My other thing is, as you know, I wear these big dorky hats, or they're not big. I wear a normal like baseball cap, but it's got a big dorky brim and bill on it. And I used to have a hat that it had like Velcro, and you could Velcro like it was a piece of cotton that would wrap around your neck and
Yep.
it would go all the way down to your shoulders. So I kind of looked like a guy with a mullet hat, essentially. They call them safari hats. And it's great because I do get a lot of sun on my neck.
Hmm.
And I have been in a running 5 year quest. I've bought multiples. I bought an outdoor research one that had button on little flaps that
Mm.
would hang down over your neck. I did
Yeah.
not like that hat. It didn't work well. It didn't fit well. I bought another kind of like knockoff brand that got good reviews on Amazon. I didn't like that hat either. So I am still on the quest for a cool long brim hat that drapes over my neck.
Hopefully our listeners can chime in and give us some feedback. Greensandbluespodcast@gmail.com. Let us know if you've got something like that. I remember so many hikes, Zach, where you've put on that baseball style cap with kind of that, it's not really a curtain, but like you're describing, kind of hanging down over your neck and protecting the back of your neck from the sun. Yeah, hopefully someone
It's
can
not the
help us.
most fashionable item in the world, I must say. Yeah, you're not going to win any contests with this one for good looks, but man, I am worried about the sun too. I know myself, I'm not good about putting on sunscreen.
Mm.
Having a layer of fabric between you and the sun that's kind of loose. And the great thing about my old one was I could dip it in a stream and I could have this kind of flap of like cool air around my neck and it kind of
Yeah.
cooled me off in the afternoon. Boy, I'd love to get back to that because
Mm.
right now I use bandanas for that purpose, but my bandanas don't have full coverage.
Mm.
So that's one that I'm looking for. So yeah, if anyone has super good advice on this, please write us and tell us.
Yeah.
So Eric, what do you want for Christmas, my friend?
I've got two things that I kind of sort of want. One of them I've used and I've actually talked about in the past during a backpacking trip this past summer. I borrowed a friend, Carl had a Katadyn Be-Free water filter, and I don't know if it's Katadyn or
K-
Katadyn or
Katahdin?
Katahdin could be.
That's how the
Who
Mainers
knows?
say it, so maybe
Okay,
that's
Katahdin. All right, Katahdin, your Be-Free filter is pretty flippin' awesome. It filters water really fast. I think I probably filtered a liter plus of water in like no time. And it comes with this It's almost like a neoprene bladder. It's not huge, but
Hmm.
the whole thing is really lightweight. And so lightweight, filters water quickly. It's not like these, and I love Sawyer water filters, but they come with these bags that are a
Yeah.
little bit on the crinkly side and a little stiff, and so not as easy to use. This water reservoir that the Be Free comes with is really soft and really easy to use. So I think it's pretty cool, and I think it's worth, again, to continue with the theme of trying to drop weight. I think it fits that theme really well. The other thing that I might have on my list is, so I think sleeping technology has come a long way. I remember my old Coleman sleeping bag was really comfortable, really soft, but it weighed about 700 pounds.
Yeah.
And
And
when it
its temperature range was like if it got below 40, you were gonna die,
you were gonna
right?
freeze, yeah.
Yeah.
But so now I have a Kelty sleeping bag. It's about
Mhm.
3 pounds. Works great for me, but from a backpacking standpoint, maybe a little on the heavy side. So I hear a lot about ultralight quilts.
I was wondering if this was gonna come up today.
Yeah,
Sleeping quilts are the thing these days.
they are. And I think for good reason, especially when it comes to backpacking. The quilt that I'm going to talk about, at least it advertises, there's a regular and a long version. The long version advertises at 1 pound, 1 ounce. So
Ooh.
that's I mean, obviously there's things that are going to weigh a lot when you're backpacking your tent, and which I know we'll talk about here in a second, and your pack, but sleeping bag is one of those heavier items that if you can shave, half a pound or a pound, let alone 2 pounds, you're doing pretty good. So REI carries a Big Agnes ultralight quilt. It's the Fly Creek model. Honestly, I've used a few things from Big Agnes. They're great quality from what I've used. And hey, Big Ag, what a great name. I'll buy anything that's called Big Agnes. That's,
Those Montana boys.
yeah.
Gobo's shoes are made in Montana. Big Agnes is from Montana, I believe.
Oh,
So,
that's
yeah.
cool.
So, I've got questions about sleeping quilts, and this may sound stupid of me.
No, it won't. I don't know a ton about them.
So, do you roll yourself up in them like a burrito, or do you lay just kind of flat on your pad? Is it like a blanket, or do you like try to wrap yourself in it like a taco,
So I've seen multiple designs of it. I think most quilts you can just unzip them fully and they work really well as
like a
a
blanket?
like a glorified blanket. And most of them do have the ability to kind of zip up, and some of them have like a closed toe box or a closed bottom, and
Mm,
some of them like this Big Agnes is it's open. So you can kind of fold it up so that it closes around your feet, but it doesn't have to. And so some of them will actually kind of cinch at the bottom so it's not fully enclosed, but mostly. And some of them have a top that's similar to where you don't have a hood. So they probably cut down on some weight by not having a hood and just you can kind of
yeah.
cinch yourself in if you want. Some of the styles I've seen are also, they're not fully wrapped around as a sleeping bag. The back has material missing and you can kind of cinch it tight around you and maybe even around a sleeping pad if you wanted to. So I think part of the theory is that if you're laying on the ground, the material that's under you is going to get compressed enough to where it's not really going to do a whole lot of good anyways. So they
Yeah,
just take
and
that material out.
your pad is what's doing most of the insulating value beneath you
Exactly.
anyway. So
Yep.
all if you do a sleep system like that, you got to have a good pad,
Oh, for
right?
sure. That's a must.
If a listener here ever wants to go down the rabbit hole of like YouTube gear reviews, sleeping quilts are their own like algorithm basically. Like there's
Yeah.
so many sleeping quilts out there
Yes.
and so many guys that do like long range backpacking that review these things.
Hmm.
And I've seen a lot of them and I've been interested. I have a kind of line of Mountain Hardwear sleeping bags. I have a light one that's synthetic, and then I have a medium weight one that's like light down, and then I have a heavyweight one that's very heavy down. I can't imagine a sleeping quilt replacing the heavy one
No,
where
I'm
you
sure it wouldn't.
where you
It's
need to be really bundled up, but it could maybe replace the light one, I feel like on certain evenings where you just need, it's maybe 40 degrees outside, 35, and you sleep in your clothes and then it gives you the next layer of heat to trap in. That might be a nice little system.
the quilts that I've seen typically rate down to about 40. So I think you're about right. The heavyweight, if you're going in really cold weather, the quilt's not going to do it for you. If you're doing it during the summer, maybe a standard summer evening in the mountains, that might fly for you. And
Okay.
so, yeah, it's a little on the pricey side, but
What are we
um,
talking here? Like how many bills?
on REI right now, you'll run 350 plus for this big Agnes quilt, which again, you're paying for the good name and the fun name to say, and I'm sure a high quality quilt, but it's a nice hefty price to pay to cut down a couple pounds out of your sleeping gear. So I'm curious about it.
Yeah, that's definitely something worth pondering. A little pricey for just a Christmas gift. You're gonna have to pool together the
Yes.
gift
I,
cards and
I
the
think everyone's gonna have to chip in
yeah,
and I
everyone's
get
got a
one
chip.
thing.
Yeah, like, hey Dad, what'd you get? Well, I got a pair of socks and I got this sleeping quilt.
Yeah.
Um, I've really wondered about those, so
Hmm.
and I was kind of hoping you'd bring something like that up because so many things in Gearland these days are, I think we've kind of mastered function to a degree. Most of the stuff now it works.
Yeah.
And so now we're just trying to make it work with less and less pack weight. And I
Yep.
think
Kind
that's
of optimize it.
yeah, we're trying to min max the whole
Hmm.
setup, right?
Yep.
So that seems like the latest innovation, that and probably what I'm about to talk about
Yeah, I
next.
think so. I think that's a good transition into some of the questions that you have. Maybe some deep philosophy coming.
Yeah, here we go. Here's
Imagine that.
Jean-Paul Sartre talks tense.
Didn't know he was
No,
getting involved in
I,
this.
I talked earlier about how I was able to successfully drop a little pack weight by getting rid of my old stove.
Yep.
I want to keep doing that with like cookware. I feel like those are really efficient uses of money. Like if I could pay like 40, $50 and drop a couple pounds, I feel like I've done something right.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Like there's pack weight that's undroppable, like water
Yep.
and food and
And
stuff,
food.
but you can kind of min max some of these other things. One of the two things I'm really pondering is an ultralight tent. And
Mm.
I'll tell you my situation right now. I have an old Mountain Smith tent that I absolutely adore. It weighs 4 pounds, 5 ounces. It is versatile. It's bulletproof. I've had it for 15 years. I've taken it everywhere. It's been rained on. It's been snowed on. I've had 50, 60 mile an hour winds. It is spot on. You and I have slept in it. It's great. It's not
Indeed.
like one person and a dog, 2 person tent. It's like two dudes, and both Eric and I are above 6 feet tall, can fit in this tent, and we feel good in it.
Yep.
So you're probably all wondering, why do you want to replace this, Zach? So it's that 4 pound, 5 ounces. I
Yeah.
see ultralight tents that are about 2 pounds, 11 ounces out there. Nemo has a couple.
Hmm.
There's an REI one. There's actually a Mountain Smith one that I looked at. So there's two different versions of ultralight tents. There's freestanding ones that have the poles and everything, and then there's some where you use your trekking poles.
Yep.
I have lots of thoughts on this. I've given it way too much thought for this is what I do for a living. I overthink things, but
That's a
um
nice job.
yeah, right. It's good to have. It's a reflex. I might as well make money with it. So my first question is it really worth all these tents are $400 and up, right? Is it really worth $400 to effectively drop a pound and a half out of my pack? That's a big question. I'm wondering if you even have thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think you're definitely going to get different responses based on who you talk to. I mean, if you talk to a hardcore through hiker or a backpacker, they're going to say, yes, it's worth it because, like you said, you've already got your trekking poles. So, one or two of them can be used to kind of prop up the middle of the tent. I know people that have that style of tent, they love it. To shave a pound and a half, that's a lot of weight to take out of your pack if you're able to do it. That's a lot of money to spend to shave that off.
Here's what's in my head. It's like I could just like do some extra cardio and lose a pound and a half off my waist. Like I could, well, Lord knows I could probably stand to drop about 5 to 10 pounds, right? Like that's a true value add is Zach just does more cardio or like Zach, maybe eats one less rib for the next couple months.
Stop it.
So like, I mean, I think about that and the other question I have about these ones that use a trekking pole is like a center pole.
Yeah.
A lot of the time I like to keep my stuff in my tent while I go hike.
Yeah.
But if I have a trekking pole holding up my tent, I can't do that because I need my trekking poles while I
Mm.
hike. So I wonder how people navigate that. Do you know anything about how that works out?
That part I don't. I wonder if you just take your pole with you and you're the top of your tent just kind of collapses down and just rests on the floor, or just forego the trekking pole altogether. You just stand in the middle of the tent and you become the trekking pole. Yeah, just sleep like that somehow. Yeah, that's a good question.
Feel like I need a freestanding ultralight tent if I'm going to do the thing.
Mhm.
And then my question becomes, yeah, is it really worth the money to drop that amount of weight off of it? I'm trying to do all the low-hanging fruit like my old stove and my cookware, and I don't even have a water filter. I just use the tablets, and that
Yeah.
that makes it even lighter.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pick off weight that way first before I get to the big dollar expenditures here.
Well, and you hike solo enough to where it actually does start to make sense, I think. I mean, if you're going with someone, you can always split the weight of the tent because you're sharing it anyways, but you're going by yourself, that's where I think the benefit might actually start coming in. So, yeah, that's an intriguing question. I'd be curious to see what our listeners say about that.
Yeah, I've had experiments in this before. I used to hike with a bivy sack, and that was just my tent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't have a tent. If it rained, I just nuzzled into the bivy sack a little
Mm-hmm.
bit deeper.
Yep.
But what I found is that I do like to be able to change my clothes in a tent. I like to be able to have like a not just be totally wrapped up when it's raining outside in a bivy. I have a nice bivy for that. A lot of people do bivy systems where they have a tarp and then they have a
Mm-hmm.
bivy, and that kind of helps them. I really like the comfort of a tent, so more things to ponder. I don't think that's going to make the Christmas list this year. So,
Along with
um,
my Big Agnes quilt that runs about the same cost from what
yeah,
it
right.
sounds like.
We can either buy tickets to the Broncos game or we could get a quilt.
Get a quilt, yeah.
My last thing, and this is also the up for debate segment of our discussion, I sleep in my car a fair bit.
Mm.
So I have a RAV4 Prime, so I have enough space if I push the passenger seat forward, can make like a little platform in there, and I sleep in my car. It's great. I have been considering a rooftop tent. So
Ooh.
there are some really cool systems out there where they kind of crank up. Like there's some where you just get into camp, you crank them up, you
Hmm.
deploy the ladder, and you're just good to go. There's others. We humorously saw a guy trying to put up his rooftop tent at the
At Holy
trailhead
Cross.
trailhead to Holy Cross and in the middle of a rainstorm, and it was this
Yeah,
pure disaster.
that was entertaining actually.
I think about that in a couple ways, and I want to know what you think about this. I know that driving with that thing on top of my car is not the best aerodynamically in the world. I mean, I I'm not an engineer like you, Eric, but that doesn't seem like that would be good.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I think about is having to ladder up and ladder down off a platform seems like, just to be brass tacks about it, like if you want to use the bathroom, I
Yeah.
don't want to have to climb a ladder.
Yeah.
I worry about those things, and rooftop tents tend to be a bit pricey.
I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah, I mean the cheapest ones you're going to get are $600, and you're going to work your way all the way up to $1,000.
Mm.
The reason I've been given to consider this is I do sleep in my car, and I had the famous mouse incident in my
Yeah,
car this
indeed.
summer, and I don't want to be a part of that anymore. So I don't know. Do you have thoughts on rooftop camping? I know
Oh,
there's a lot of opinions about this, and like again, if you get on YouTube, there's a whole algorithm just for people that talk about rooftop tents. But yeah, do you have any thoughts, Eric?
yeah, as you were talking, Zach, the bathroom issue is actually the first thing that came to mind for me too. Yeah, it's always going to come down to cost, and if you don't want Jerry from Tom and Jerry scurrying around your face again like you did this past summer, then is it worth it to instead have a bear come at you into your tent that's sitting on your car? I think it's intriguing. I think it's an interesting idea. I think the simpler, probably the better, I would think, because as you and I experienced during our Holy Cross endeavor, trying to get those things up in a storm of any kind is has got to be like pulling teeth. But I'm sure those are the more expensive ones to get, right? So,
Yeah, the ones where you just basically crank them up and they just kind
hmm
of elevate, those look really cool and they look spacious enough to sleep in. But I do have worries. Yeah, I mean, those are just expensive. We're having a hard time justifying a $350 quilt. I can just imagine going to my wife and being like, "How do you feel about a $1,200 rooftop tent that I use 5 days a year?" Like,
I think it's an intriguing idea if you've got the money for it. So I'm just trying to think through like what would alternatives be, because part of what brought this up is the mouse incident, right? So
I'm fixing that.
okay.
By the way, I'm not letting that go undone. Like I've got a guy that's gonna like put steel mesh over my air intake.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I'm going to basically make my car smell like a peppermint farm when I drive through the like, and it's going to be like peppermint and steel wool. That's going to be the car's motif.
That sounds
So I'm
great.
going to do my best. I would prefer to just be able to sleep in my car, to be quite honest. And I've thought about building a sleeping platform in my car too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That those have like storage and stuff. But I'm tall, and I need every little bit of headroom in my car, so I probably won't do that. But it's probably better to just address it. But the gear nerd in me is kind of thinking, wow, that'd be pretty cool. Be able to drive into camp, throw out a ladder, crank it up, and go to bed.
I'd love to hear from our listeners on that one too.
Yeah.
If anyone has a rooftop tent that they've invested in, have used, have had good or bad experiences with, I'd love to hear folks' opinion on that because I think it's an intriguing idea.
Do you have any stuff that's up for debate, Eric? The gear debate?
I don't think so. I think, if I can get another pair of those REI pants, that might be about the closest I can get to something that might be debatable. Do I really need it or not? So,
You always
otherwise,
need a second pair of pants, my friend.
I've got a few pairs of hiking pants, but do I want another one that's that comfortable? That's a good question.
The
I
answer
don't
is yes.
I don't have $1,000 question. I've got a $50 question, I guess.
That's the night eating out. Like I would
Yes,
say that's
true.
worth it. I go on these longer trips, so I need to have multiple pairs of pants. I can see why you might be able to get away with just the one, but as a guy that may share a tent with you more this summer, I would recommend getting a second pair. Just throwing it out there.
You may have sold me on it, right, with that last comment. So
Well, it's interesting to talk about gear. We don't talk about it a lot. And I know we're not backpackers, and a lot of this stuff was backpacking gear, or it's not a backpacking podcast, but I think it's always interesting the conversation about weight versus cost.
hmm
Sometimes the most expensive thing isn't the best thing. I don't really worry about my day pack weight a lot. Sometimes, actually, my day pack tends to be a little too heavy sometimes. I carry way more water than I need. So these are interesting conversations to have. I think when I was a kid, there was a divide between gear that like wouldn't repel water and would like get you soaked and would be uncomfortable,
Oh yeah.
and gear that was really expensive and can do some of those things. We've moved so far now, like pretty much all the gear you can buy, even cheap stuff, is from materials that are going to be at least water repellent or
hmm
something along those lines. And they're going to be reliable and lightweight. So I think we're in a kind of place where pretty much anything will do these days, but we're definitely min maxing to a certain
Yeah,
degree.
for sure. Drifting into the true ultralight conversations, which are fun
Yeah.
conversations to have.
Should I saw the handle off my toothbrush? Debate, right?
I've heard plenty of opinions on that debate, actually.
Yeah, I knew a guy that did that.
Yeah.
So shout out to George. But um, well, Eric, do we have anything else we want to add for today's gear conversation? I think we've given people lots to talk about for Christmas. Maybe some things to put on your wish list for Santa.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to add today, my friend?
I don't think so. This has been a fun conversation, Zach. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Thanks for bringing us into your philosophical mental debate about some of the higher priced things that you may want to have on your list. So, this has been fun.
Well, I'm glad we could do this. I restrained myself from talking about my real desire, which is to buy a trailer for my car and put an ATV on it for real trail access. But
That would make my list of everywhere. I would have asked for it last year. I would have used it this year. I still want it next year. That's a
one
good
day,
one.
one day you may benefit from this, my friend. I'm not too far off from buying a trailer and having an ATV, and then you can ride on the back of it. Like I can
Oh man.
just a
Can we put
couple.
playing cards in the spokes like that? This just sounds
Yeah.
like a great. a great thing overall.
Just a couple ding dongs going up the trail in an ATV. Well, if anyone wants to reach us, Eric, if anyone has advice on gear or wants to give us some information on this kind of thing, how can they get in touch with us?
Yeah, this would be a especially great topic to hear from our listeners. Lots of ways to get a hold of us. You can email us, like we mentioned before, greensandbluespodcast@gmail.com. You can visit our website, which is greensandbluespodcast.podbean.com. And through there, you can find a whole host of other ways to get a hold of us. Our Facebook group. You can watch videos on our YouTube channel. There's some videos of Zach this past summer doing some silly things and AI captioning doing some silly things with what he's saying, but hopefully those are entertaining. You can leave us a voicemail through
Yeah.
that website.
Don't
That would
make
be
us do another Q&A with random celebrity inserts in there, guys.
Zach is going to bring Andre the Giant back to life too, and then it's all over. So yeah, lots of different ways to get a hold of us. We love hearing from folks, and if you do get in touch with us, we promise we will get back to you.
Thanks so much for listening, and we wish everybody a very Merry Christmas.